So how solid is the National Insurance Board? Ianthea Smith takes a look at the board's performance over the past year.
After enduring more than 3 decades on a financial roller coaster, it seems the National Insurance Board is on a firm foundation. According to the 2010 NIB report tabled in the House of Assembly Wednesday, NIB's total reserves hit more than $1.6 billion, a first in its 37-year history. In that report, NIB Director Algernon Cargill says, although tough economic times prevailed, 2010 was another successful financial year for the National Insurance Fund. He explained that when compared to 2009, contributions increased by 4.9% from $159.9 million to $167.5 million. Investment income also increased, this time by 23% from $74.3 million in 2009 to $91.5 million last year. On the flip side, he said benefit expenditure decreased by 1.5% from $178.7 million to $176 million. In his report, Cargill also noted that for the second consecutive year, benefit payments exceeded contribution income. In 2009, this was due primarily to the unemployment benefit payments of $20.8 million. In his report, NIB Chairman Patrick Ward noted that at the end of 2010, some 19,738 Bahamians had signed on to the unemployment program, with about $30 million paid out during that year. The report also gave a status report on the National Prescription Drug Plan, which just marked its first anniversary in September. Under the NPDP, an average of 6,000 prescriptions were filled monthly in 2010. But just as the National Insurance Board has enjoyed many successes, there have also been many challenges, especially when it comes to compliance. The NIB report says many businesses and self-employed people are still not making their NIB payments, creating a problem not just for the Social Security safety net, but ultimately for all workers in the country. Last year, NIB continued its vigilance in taking delinquent contributors to court. Those efforts, they say, have yielded some positive results. Ianthea Smith, ZNS News.
A 3-day conference on higher education is happening here in the capital. The aim is promoting best practices in quality assurance in tertiary education throughout the region. Janea Noel was at today's opening ceremony.
The 8th Annual Caribbean Area Network for Quality Assurance in Tertiary Education, or CANCAID Conference, kicked off Thursday at the Cable Beach Sheridan Resort under the theme Enhancing Access to Tertiary Education in a Globalized Environment. In partnership with the College of the Bahamas, President Dr. Betsy Bose says the conference signifies regional commitment to growth in nation building.
In many countries, there is little publicly available data to allow students and their families to compare the added value of a baccalaureate or master's degree. So the important work that you are doing here in these 3 days to ensure higher education quality is key to the very credibility of our tertiary education systems.
Education Minister Desmond Bannister says that educators globally find it prudent to implement quality assurance mechanisms. He added that CANCAID is sensitive to the needs for workers to move easily across borders, as well as institutions and organizations to be assured of the quality of the employees hired.
The stark reality is that some of these institutions do not always do what they purport to do. Often, their intentions are not genuine, and sometimes they violate the trust that their patrons place in them. Others are well-meaning, but do not have the ability or the know-how to effectively institute quality assurance mechanisms within their institutions to execute their mandates and honor their commitment to their students.
And as the College of the Bahamas moves toward university status, President of CANCAID, Valder Aline, says organizations like this one are beneficial.
One of the means by which this network can assist, of course, is providing the enabling environment in terms of capacity building through our workshops, conferences, various means by which we enable our members to be able to implement quality assurance processes to be recognized as a university. Because a university, the confer of type of university means that you will move to a higher level where there's certain expectations at that level.
The conference ends on Friday. Janae Noel, ZNS News.
It's a service organization celebrating its 48th Charter Day, and they're doing it by reaching out to the community. The Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated is involved in 2 weeks of activities. First Vice President Ida Poitier-Turnquois says a public forum will be held tonight at the New Covenant Baptist Church, where a panel of female parliamentarians will discuss pertinent issues in the country today.
Most of the issues that we will deal with will be issues dealing with women and youth. That is the emphasis, because a lot of the crime now is dealing with perpetrated against women in this country. Moving forward. Outcome moving forward, that we're hoping that they will be able to move legislation and move things forward for us within the Parliament.
Other activities include a ball honoring female legacies in health. All monies raised will go toward their Honors Day program, where scholarships are awarded to young ladies who are seniors in high school.
It's a scholarship program for high school female graduates from through the entire country, not just here in New Providence. This is our 34th year of doing this, and the other funds will also go towards our new program, which is Emerging Young Leaders, and we work with children from grades 6 to 8, and it's a leadership mentoring program.
A group of students at Mabel Walker Primary quite happy these days. They're benefiting from a win of the Nassau Sunrise's literacy program. So, for performing so well, these kids were given another treat. 54 of the students will participate in breakfast at Sunrise. It's an initiative where 54 Rotarians will provide breakfast each Thursday to students on the Big Pond campus. Rotarian Dr. Sophia Roll is the coordinator.
Right now it's a pilot program for 12 weeks. We're hoping to extend it at least until next June and beyond. We are inviting other Rotarians as well as other corporate sponsors, corporate citizens who are corporate-minded, to take up this particular initiative. It's not sufficient to just be able to give money, throw money behind these kinds of initiatives.
We're going to help you to be the leaders of our Commonwealth. We want to ensure that you get a healthy breakfast so when you go in your classrooms, your eyes are brightly open, that your minds are awakened, and that you're going to just suck in as much knowledge and education as possible.
Giving his full support to the venture were Education Minister Desmond Bannister and State Social Development Minister Loretta Butler Turner. Both urged the students not to waste the breakfast, considering it's the most important meal of the day.
Every day we provide lunches to schools throughout the Bahamas, to children that may not be able to afford lunch. And so we're so proud to have this partner now come in and serve breakfast.
I want to encourage every single one of you boys and girls to ensure that you eat something good in the morning.
The program ends December 15th. He's one of the few founding fathers of the modern Bahamas still alive, and he's still making contributions to the community. Governor General Sir Arthur Folkes emerged from humble beginnings in Inagua to become one of the most influential Bahamians in his work as a freedom fighter and intellectual leader who paved the way to a free and independent Bahamas. This work earned him an honorary Doctor of Laws degree from St. John's University recently. Cyan Thompson has this special report.
The place where God calls us is the place where our deep gladness meets the world's deep hunger. Sir Arthur, in his acceptance speech, quoting Frederick Buechner, saying his life mirrored this profound statement.
It has been my deep gladness, along with many others, to employ whatever gifts I had to help meet the deep hunger of my fellow Bahamians for equality and freedom, justice, and peace.
During a ceremony held at Government House, dignitaries, family, and friends of the Governor General witnessed the historic hooding by President of St. John's University, Father Robert Koopman, symbolizing the conferral of the honorary doctorate degree to Sir Arthur. Sir Arthur is the first Bahamian to have this honor bestowed upon him since the country's 120-year long-standing relationship with that university. Sir Arthur received the honor for his legacy in over 50 years of diplomacy, peace, democracy, and intellectual leadership.
As a young boy at Inagua and as a student at Western Senior, just over the back wall from Government House, now the campus of C.R. Walker. I never expected to serve my country in this capacity. I am grateful for this enormous privilege, and I also deeply appreciate the conferral of this honorary doctorate from St. John's University.
Recalling his early days at the Tribune, Sir Arthur acknowledges the cultivation of his strong writing skills by Sir Etienne de Puch, his mentor, who was also one of the first Bahamian students at St. John's University.
Sir Etienne, as some of you already know, was my mentor in journalism. Later, when we crossed swords, or pens really, he took vigorous exception to some of my views and political choices. But I do not believe he ever regretted his cultivation of my desire to write.
Meantime, the country's 8th Bahamian Governor General says while many men and women have led the way to a free Bahamas, there is still much work to be done to strengthen the economic and democratic fiber of the Bahamas. Cyan Thompson, ZNS News.